Well, it's very nice to meet you, Nathalie Miranda.
Thank you so much
Everyone,
for having me on the show.
you're very welcome. Welcome, everyone, to our interview with the sensational Nathalie Miranda. Nathalie blends soul, blues, and classic rock into high energy retro pop. She's a dynamic London based pop star known for her genre blending singles that mix soul, blues, and classic rock into high energy retro pop with influences from legends like Freddie Mercury and Whitney Houston, and a nod to her Greek-Cypriot roots. Natalie's powerful vocals and passionate performances set her apart. Her hits Catch 22 and Soul on Fire, which is absolutely brilliant and excellent, have garnered significant attention with 250,000 Spotify streams each and over 200,000 YouTube views combined. This year, of course, Natalie's star continues to rise. She's been featured in Wonderland magazine and Rolling Stone India, performed on BBC's Later with Jules Holland, who, as you may not know, used to be a member of Squeeze, my favorite group.
I
I
love
can't
them.
can't believe it. And also, Natalie headlined iconic London venues like the Troubadour. Natalie is proud of her heritage. She incorporates it into her music as seen in her single. Now, I can't really read Greek, but it's translated to 1,000 scars.
Yes.
Now, can you tell me how to say that Greek phrase, 1,000 scars?
Sure, it's Hilia Simathia.
Hilia Dematia?
Simathia with an S on the front.
Hilia
Sim
Dematia.
Simathia. Yes, that's it.
Yay! I know Greek.
Bravo, πολύ ωραία.
Thank you. And I remember I used to work with Greek coworkers in the factory, and they were always using the word Dekanis, I think.
Τι κάνεις? Yes, that's how are you?
How are you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yay, I know too. So, beyond Natalie's solo career, she collaborates with international producers, bringing her solo career and bringing her 90s diva vocals to dance and house music. Talking about her vocals, you will not believe this, everyone. Natalie Miranda has an octave voice of four octaves. Like, that is extraordinary. Like, that's extraordinary. I don't know how you do that. That's that's a powerhouse right there. Powerhouse. So, and her ever evolving sound is full of passion, heart, and Greek-Cypriot spirit. So, everyone, today we dive deep into her journey, inspirations, and what's next for the rising star. Natalie, thank you so much for joining us on the show today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're very welcome. I'd like to ask you a question. Can you tell us about your musical journey and how it all started?
Sure. So it was a little bit of a slower journey, I would say, than most. I grew up in a house full of music. So my mum is a music lover. So from very little, I was listening to a whole variety of artists, from Whitney to Queen to Julio Iglesias, everyone you can think of. Um, and I remember always loving it and knowing that it was something that I could connect with and express myself with. But as I got older, I turned into a really shy teenager, a really shy kid, and I knew I wanted to sing, and I would always sing in my room with the hi-fi, turned up to the max, so no one could hear me. But I was very shy, and I didn't have the courage to do it in public. So it took a really long time. I think I was about 15 when I finally sang in public for the very first time, and it was karaoke night on holiday with my family. And my mum was like, "You're going to sing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to sing." So I got up with my back turned towards the audience, really nervous, and I sang "Hopelessly Devoted to You" from the film Grease. And I got a standing ovation, which I couldn't believe. And my parents were like, "What? You can sing?" And so that was a really big move for me because it proved that I could do it. And from that day, when we got back home, I joined a sort of a weekend drama school so I could explore these abilities.
Hmm.
And I'd been writing for many years, but I just never had anyone I could work with to get the music into like a proper state or structure. So from that day, everything changed, and I found local studios I could work with where I could record my music, and guitarists that would help me write the music and things like that. And yeah, but it's just been a very slow journey because it took me a really long time to find my true voice and to really feel comfortable with who I am and not to want to compare myself with other people. Um, there's been lots of me trying to sound like other people over the years or change my style or whatever. And it never worked for me. But it took me a really long time to discover that if I can't be myself, then really there's no point. I have to be myself in every respect.
That's
So,
totally true. I like
yeah.
how you share your story about your upbringing and just it's very important to know. And you mentioned something about drama school.
Yes.
Did you have a desire to become like a British actress at some point?
So I love all the arts. I love acting. I love dancing. It's something I used to do at school a lot. But this drama school was just one day a week on a Saturday, and it really just brought me out of my shell. I really needed that, and I was around like-minded kids as well because I didn't grow up around kids that enjoyed the things I enjoyed. It was a great place to be, and just really helped me build my confidence just a little bit. Um, so yeah, it was. I look back on those days with a lot of fondness for sure.
Do you think you would have been a successful British actress, or did you decided, I'm just going to go into music? I don't really. What's your thoughts on that?
Music was always number one. As I say, I love acting, and I use it a lot in my music videos. I draw on that passion I have for that. But music just felt like the more natural routes for me. I guess if I could do it all again, I would probably try and do everything, train as a dancer and actress and everything. But it didn't work out like that for me. But so yeah, I'm 100% music.
Tell us about your biggest musical influences growing up.
So, I mean, I could talk forever about my influences. There, growing up with my mum playing so many different types of music, I would say number one, as you can see in the background here, is Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, yeah, from Queen.
He is all over my studio, and I was so little, I didn't really know who he was or who they were, but I remember the music. And I remember when Freddie Mercury died, and I remember seeing the news broadcast and not really knowing who he was, but hearing the music and being like, oh my God, that's the guy that I love. He's gone. How can he be gone? So I feel very connected to Freddie because um, I've read a lot about him, and from what I've heard, he was actually a very shy person off stage, quite insecure, but on stage he was amazing, larger than life. And I love his songwriting, I love his stage presence, I love his vocals, I love how he wasn't afraid to take a risk. He just did it, you know. So I feel like he's definitely my number one inspiration. But aside from him, Prince. I've grown up with Prince. I love Prince. Whitney, Aretha, a lot of Latin artists like Gloria Estefan, and even, like I said, Julio Iglesias, Greek artists for sure. But then people like Bon Jovi, George Michael, Christina Aguilera. There's so many, and I think all of that has made me the artist I am, in that I'm very multi-genre and I'm a mix of everything, which kind of culminates in me, in my sound.
That's
So it's
quite an
kind of a
eclectic,
big, yeah, exactly.
quite an eclectic amount. Many of the musicians you mentioned. Yeah, you have a
Yeah, not
four
many.
octave range, and Britney
Yeah.
Spears is a soprano. Believe it or not,
Oh, she is.
she is. She's a soprano. She could sing opera if she wanted to. Christina Aguilera is a mezzo soprano.
Yeah.
But what's your favorite Queen song?
a difficult question. Oh, I would say between We Are the Champions and Who Wants to Live Forever, I think.
How about the songs Bring Me Somebody to Love? Find me.
Yeah, that's amazing as well. I mean, it's just, I love all their music. I'm not so fond of their very early music, but certainly from uh, Night at the Opera onwards, um, I'm a huge fan. And I love Freddie Mercury's solo material, in fact. I think it's very underrated.
Do you wish you had met Freddie?
Oh, 100%. Oh my goodness. He, I think, I think we would have got on really well, actually. And actually, many years ago, well, about 10 years ago, I got in touch with a guy called Peter Hintz.
Really?
This photo here is
Wow.
from Peter Hintz, who was Freddie's roadie.
Oh, wow.
And he used to take photographs of the band and Freddie, and he was selling some. So I went to find him, and he's a friend of mine now. He's told me so many stories about Freddie and the band.
Nice.
And the more I hear, the more I know that I I would have got on very well with him.
Well, out of those wonderful musicians you mentioned, Christina Aguilera, and then you mentioned Prince and Freddie Mercury, okay, I'm going to ask you, who would like to collaborate with if you could, living or dead?
Right. I would definitely say Freddie for sure, but I would love to collaborate with Christina. I think um, we have the same kind of mission statement, if you will. We sing a lot about empowerment,
Hmm.
female empowerment, equality, and really just being yourself and believing in yourself. And I feel like if we could combine our forces, I think that would be pretty awesome.
But yeah, that's great. I love all those people you mentioned, especially Prince. How do
Yeah.
your Greek Cypriot, I guess I'm pronouncing it right, Cypriot?
Cypriot, yeah.
How do your Greek Cypriot roots influence your music?
Oh, I really think they have. I mean, if you've listened to my music, you'll notice a lot of it is it's dramatic, it's very passionate, and that's exactly what Greek music is. It's so over the top. It's always about heartache or revenge or something just very dramatic. And I really resonate with the way that the Greek singers are just fantastic. If you listen to their expression and the flexibility in their voices, and it's just you don't even need to understand the language. If you hear it, you're just like, oh, you can feel everything they say. And growing up with that has definitely permeated down into me, into my soul. And I love Greek music. I love it.
Yeah, apart from your single "A Thousand Scars" as I guess, one of the only Greek songs that you have on there?
So far, yes.
That's excellent. What was the inspiration behind your hit single "Catch 22"? Can you share with us a story behind that one?
Of course. So Catch 22 was actually written during lockdown and recorded and released. Um, it is very simply the war between your heart and your head. So, do you listen to your heart or do you listen to your head? And you can put it into whatever context you like, but the song is about a relationship. So, you know that you should really leave this person, but in your heart, you know that you cannot live without them. You've got to be with them. And it's just that war that we've all been through, that battle. It wasn't actually inspired by personal experience. It was just something that came to me and I wanted to explore it.
So, and then what were the most easiest part of that song to write, the melody or the lyrics?
So for me, they come together. Melody and the lyrics always just come at the same time. But I would say the verse and the chorus came pretty quickly. The breakdown bit was something that we actually added after. I had another breakdown, and then when we were recording it, my producer was like, I don't know, I think we can do better than this, and we just worked with it and we came up with a sort of talking bit in the middle. And it's actually that fans really love that bit. So I'm happy that we took the time to do that.
Is that your songwriting process, or is there more that goes into that?
There are several ways I write. I would say almost 99% of the time it's that a melody and a lyric will come to me and I just have to stop everything and just write. But there are other occasions where I'm presented with a backing track. For example, the house music that I've done a lot of on the side, the dance music, that's producers sending me a backing track and saying, can you write something about this? Or can you just write anything you like, you know? So sometimes it's a backing track that inspires me, but most of the time it's just a melody and a lyric that will come to me. But also I get inspired by movies a lot. If I hear something really cool that a character might say, I'll be like, oh my God, and I write it down.
Hmm.
I have a whole list of lines from movies and they spark ideas and scenarios in my head.
Do you wish you could write a song for a movie?
Yes. Oh, I really do. And in fact, a lot of my fans say Catch 22 should be in a movie. It's kind of like a Bond theme or something. Yeah, I would love to. I would love that. I'd love to hear my music in a movie on the big screen.
I gotta ask, A Thousand Scars. Is there an experience behind that, and why Greek?
um, do you know, I've always wanted to write a song in Greek because I was born in London and I've lived my whole life in London, but I
Mhm.
am Greek-Cypriot, so I wanted to make sure people know that that is where I'm from, and I'm very proud of my roots. You wouldn't know it. My accent is clearly very English, very British, but you know, and my name isn't particularly Greek either. So I wanted people to know that those are my roots. And when it came to writing the song a couple of years ago, I knew I wanted to do the rhythm that you hear in that song is called zebekigo. It's the one where the hands come up and the plates get smashed, you know,
Mhm.
that kind of rhythm. And that's my favorite because it's so over the top. It's so dramatic. It's the best. And with those songs, it's generally about heartache and heartbreak. And I wanted to kind of turn it around and make it not so that the character is upset, but that she wants to come back for revenge on the guy. So the best way to do that is to use the zebekigo beat and just write the lyrics. You know, you think you've got away with it, but actually, I'm going to come back and cause you a lot of heartache myself. And I worked with the instrumentation you hear on there was done by a fantastic Greek producer called Harry Kay, who's worked with
Mhm.
top Greek stars. He did all the bouzouki, all the guitar, all the Greek instruments on there, and it was such a joy to work with him because he just brought my Greek vision to life. So it's a really special song, and the music video will kind of depict this perfectly for anyone that doesn't understand Greek. It's just me with a friend of mine, and I kind of lock him up, you know, in this room, and I've come back to tell him that I'm coming back for you, and you're not going to get away with it, and you know. So it was a lot of fun, but a very special song for sure. And I do actually have other songs I've written in Greek, but they'll come in their own time.
Yeah, we have a coworker who's Greek, and her name's Helen, but her last name, I've been asking her for so long to pronounce it, and she won't pronounce it. But I'm like, what? Talking about Greek names, like they're like totally different.
They can be pretty problematic, especially for non-Greek speakers, because a lot of the time there's a lot of vowels all in one go as well, and an English speaker won't understand how to pronounce them. So I do feel for you.
It's amazing. So, Natalie, tell us, how does it feel to have your hit songs hit 250,000 streams on Spotify? What was your mindset at that point?
I mean, it's for me it's never really about the stats, but that was really special to know that
Mhm.
happened. And you know, it, it's I think especially during that time, I think this is Catch 22 you're talking about. Everyone was at home, everyone was streaming music, everyone
Yeah.
was, you know, so it was really good to know that people were listening to the song and watching the music video as well. But it really isn't about figures for me. I really just make music and that I feel strongly about, so that I hope that my listeners will also connect to it. And that's all I can ask for, really.
Oh, definitely. I really enjoyed the fact that you were on a BBC show called Later with Jules Holland. Were you familiar with who Jules Holland was when you met him?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I've never sort of seen Squeeze or anything, but I love 80s music. I'm a huge fan of 80s music, so I've heard their songs over the years. And actually, I didn't get to meet him personally. I saw him from about this far away, but because of the nature of the show,
Mm.
we didn't meet him. But it was I was singing backing vocals for a British band called Jamais, who were a big thing in the 90s.
Yeah.
Um, and this was back in 2018 when I did the show. So I had to quickly learn all these songs that I didn't know pretty much on the day, and work with a couple of other backing
Mhm.
vocalists as well. And it was just live TV on the BBC, and it was a great experience. And it really inspired me to hopefully one day be on that show as me in my own right as an artist.
Oh, definitely. I know that Squeeze original lineup was Jules Holland on drums and Gilson Lavis, Glenn Tilbrook, and they all kind of like, I think they all congregated now for a reunion. And I think Jules was part of that. But there's one member of Squeeze who's one of the best songs. I don't think he's joined the tour, but uh, and we also know that Liam and Noel Gallagher are back in Oasis, so they're like everyone's like, "What's the controversy about that?" And Emily Armstrong is a new singer of Linkin Park. People complaining,
Yes.
especially Chester's mother. So all these things happen, you know. But
Yeah.
wow, Gilson like Jules Holland, that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, it was a really long day. I think it
Yeah.
was almost 8:30 in the morning till 11 p.m. at night, and a lot of hanging around, but it was worth it, 100%.
Yeah. Which performance venue has been your favorite so far and why?
Which of my performances?
Yeah.
Um, do you know, I really like the very stripped back performances I do, the acoustic performances, even if they're in just really small venues. I find them very much more personal, and you find and I do the stripped back versions of my songs,
Hmm.
which are sometimes a little bit different because it's just acoustic guitar. I really enjoy those because you really connect with the audience, and it's just a lot more sort of you can express yourself in a different way. I think when you're on a big stage with a band, or using a backing track, and it's a big event, it's a lot harder to get that connection. And I do love that. Obviously, I love all aspects of performing, but I really enjoy the stripped back ones for sure.
Yeah. When you do a live performance, how do you prepare for that? Do you just go on, okay, everyone, Natalie Miranda, you just go on, or do you have like jumping jacks or stuff like that? What do you do? What do you do to prepare before you go out and sing your first song?
I get really nervous, even after all these years. I just get so nervous, and
Wow.
I drink so much water, which means I'm forever going to the bathroom before before I get on
Yeah.
stage.
I'm not editing that out. I'm keeping it.
Keep it. Um, I try to I do some warm ups as well, and I do some stretching because the way I perform can be quite physical. I try to just have a moment with no one around as well, even if I just have to, find a corner to
Yeah.
just be calm. But once I've done the first song, I'm fine. But I feel like no matter how many years you're performing, that anxiety and that kind of the nerves just don't go. But
Yeah.
I also think it's a good thing. It shows that you care and that you're concerned about doing a good job and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and yeah, I think some of the biggest musicians are still nervous when they go out. I think Debbie Harry from Blondie is still nervous, and you can sing as many times as you want, but there's not going to be a time where say, okay, I'm confident this time, because you might go up
Yeah,
there and it's a whole different set like of people, you know, you're like, oh, maybe I'm not confident. It's just different, you know?
yeah, and I mean, on top of that, there's potential technical
Yeah.
difficulties, which almost always happen. You know, you don't know, you never know what's going to happen. You have to be ready for everything. So,
Yeah, exactly. Natalie, so how did you, what challenges have you faced in your music career and how did you overcome them?
okay. I would say the biggest challenge I've faced and still face is really being understood by the industry, if that makes sense. I mean, I've never followed the rules. I've been told so many times, pick a genre or pick a
Mhm.
style, or you can't do this or you can't do that. That doesn't work with me. I have to make music that feels authentic to me, and I love all types of music. So that's why I constantly change genre with each release.
Mhm.
I'm an independent artist. I've got nothing to lose by doing that. Um, but I feel like over the years, people just really, especially here in the UK, they just don't fully understand where I'm coming from. My voice is not, it's not pop. It's not particularly mainstream. But for example, I have a lot of fans in the States that totally get where I'm coming from. You know, they're like, you should come to the States. People will get you over here. Easier said than done. Although I wish I could do that immediately. But I feel I have a constant challenge of getting people to just give me a chance, basically. Over the years, I've had people say, yeah, we like that, but what are we going to do with you? Because are you pop? Are you soul? Are you a bit of rock? Are you, what are you? They just want to categorize me, and they can't. And that scares them. So they don't want to touch me, basically. They just, you stay over there and do your own thing, and we'll just stick with everyone else that has a sound we can define,
Mhm.
basically. um, and that's been a struggle forever for me, and sort of combined with the struggle of me taking a longer period of time to really feel comfortable with who I am. And I think if I had been more confident when I was a little bit younger, maybe things would have gone a bit differently for me. But it took a really long time. Everything I've ever done has been kind of off my own back. I've had no help from anyone, and uh, that's why I think it's taken much longer. But now I'm in a position to say, if you don't like it, fine. That's fine. That's, you know, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because I know I have my fan base. And really, that's a lot more important to me at this stage in my life, knowing that my fan base is receiving music that they love from me and connecting with them. If anything else comes from this now, you know, sort of industry wise or whatever, that's great. But honestly, I'm really not striving for that anymore. I'm so done with the rejection and all that kind of stuff. I'm just doing my thing, enjoying doing my thing, and really just loving music right now. And I'm so grateful for all my fans, for those people out there that really just have embraced me and my
A
yes.
new fan.
Thank you so much, for everyone that's embraced my weirdness and my, you know, my mix of inspirations and things like that. I just that's all I can ask for.
It's amazing, Natalie. I'm like, how do you stay motivated and inspired to create new music?
You know, it is tough, and I would say being in a digital world has kind of made things harder for me. I, I'm not a fan of social media. I use it because I have to, but I'm a very kind of private person. I don't like
Mm.
to really share too much, give too much of my soul away online. Um, and it is hard, you know. You're scrolling through your whatever, and you might see
Mhm.
someone that's achieved a goal that I wanted to achieve, and you know, I'm nowhere near there. For example, it's hard. It can make you think, oh, what am I doing? I might as well just stop. But deep inside me, I know that I've got this fire and I've got this passion, so I keep it burning. I'm like, I'm going to keep going. I've got people I need to prove wrong, but I'm going to prove them wrong in my own way.
Yeah, at any moment you could just decide, you know what? I'm going to do a jazz song. I think I'm going to
Yeah,
do a classical song. I think
yeah.
I'm doing a pop song. Or you're going to do like, oh wow, I never thought of an Elvis Presley song. I'm going to do an Elvis Presley song. So says you had to stick with one type of genre? You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah, and I think it's actually I'm noticing a lot more people talking about this right now. I, for example, Madonna. Madonna is always Madonna, but she's explored so many different types of music from different cultures,
Hmm.
even. And in that time, it was oh, Madonna's evolving. She's in a new era, and it was applauded. And now suddenly, if you're an independent artist, because you're independent and you're unknown, people want to put you in a box. They want to be able to define you. And there's a lot of artists now coming out saying, well, why? We are musicians and we love music. We
Hmm.
should be allowed or given the opportunity to play around and have fun. That's what it's all about.
That's exactly right, Natalie. So with your song, You Got Soul, what kind of budget did you use to create and film many of these wonderful music videos? Where do you come up with the finances for that?
So you got soul. Well, I'm lucky enough to work with a great video director who I actually found on social media about 9 years ago, and he's now a very good friend of mine. We worked on every music video together, um, and he gives me a very reasonable price because we're now very good friends. But I do a lot of live streaming here in the UK, and I put all that money aside
Hmm.
for my music videos, for
Nice.
getting my music mastered and stuff like that. Um, but the inspirations always just come as even as I'm writing the song, I'm thinking about what I'm going to be doing in the music video. So it's a sort of a progression of events. And I always like to try and make them as simple as possible, but yet very effective. So every music video I've ever done has been on, some of them were even for free. The venue would give me the use of the venue for free or a very, very small cost. And sometimes I've had to pay a little bit more to get the right venue. For example, with the Spanish song Terremoto, we hired
Mm.
this really weird place for the video, but it worked so well, and I'm glad that I did that. It's a bit of push and pull, but you have to just work with what you've got. But I love that. I love the music video part is my favorite part of any project.
Yeah, all of like your whole YouTube channel is amazing here. I just absolutely love it. A
Thank
lot of
you.
your music and your singing and your four octave range. Uh, Beautiful, beautiful, Natalie. So, what role does classical piano play in your music today?
So I I don't I haven't put any classical music into my releases as yet, but I am classically trained on the piano. It's sadly not something I put together with singing. I was always just playing the piano as without singing. Um, I could never kind of combine the two and keep them both at the level that I want them. So if I'm playing the piano and singing, I'm worried about the piano and I will forget about the singing, or vice versa. I'm actually practicing that a lot at the moment because I'd love to go out and do some solo shows with the piano. Um, but yeah, it's learning the piano definitely gave me all the foundations I need for songwriting. So I have my mum to thank for that, for forcing me to do piano lessons from like 5 years old.
Thank you, Mom.
Thanks, Mum.
I'd really like to hear about your experience working with producer Harry Kay. What was that like for you?
So Harry Kay was the producer that worked on Jamais on the Greek track, and Harry is a really special guy because he was the guy that recorded my very first demo. Oh my goodness, I was 17 and I'd never been in a studio in my life. And I actually recorded I Turn to You by Christina Aguilera. And I was petrified. I didn't know what anything did or, how to sing with these headphones on. But he was a really great inspiration to me back then. We've kept in touch all these years. And he is the master of Greek music when it comes to production and yeah, composition. He doesn't live in London. He lives just outside of London. So we were working remotely, sending things back and forth, back and forth.
Wow.
But it was a really good experience. And to have the opportunity to work with someone that has worked in Greece with the top Greek singers was just like, oh my God. So yeah, very special experience.
Amazing, Natalie. Wow. Uh, wow. So I'd like to know how you balance your solo career with writing for dance and house music. How does that go for you?
Um, it's it's okay. I think I've got it. I think I've got it down. It's my stuff, my solo material is always the priority for sure. But when the dance stuff does come in, there's usually a bit of a deadline. You know, we need this by next week or whatever, and you kind of have to focus and get it done. Um, it's slowed down a little bit at the moment. This year, I haven't had too many. I've done a lot of some songwriting for other artists this year, which has been quite fun as well. But yeah, it's a good balance, I think. As long as I always say to them, you know, if I'm in the middle of my own project, I'll be like, I have to finish this before I start this dance track because my music is always coming
Wow.
first.
Yes. Yes. Wow. This is amazing. So from your music to your piano to spending time with Freddie, and then I've read something here about this Christmas song you wrote about your boyfriend coming back and everything. How do you deal with all your mental health? Like, share with us how does Natalie Miranda share like your mental health? How do you deal with that?
I think the best way is to just sometimes social media can get really overwhelming and you have to just step back.
Hmm.
There are times uh, for about 2 or 3 years since 2020, maybe 2 years, I was posting every day,
Hmm.
every single day. I was batch recording content, I was recording music, I was going live on all platforms 2 times a week. It was just ridiculous. I don't know how I did it. It was just constant. Different. I was staying up till ridiculous hours to hit the American market as well. You know, it just became too much. So I kind of thought I really need to step back. So if you realize that you're in a particular situation and it's bad, you need to just step away. And even if you take a week off, the people that are your fans are going to be there when you come back. I know a lot of people worry if I don't post, I'm going to lose followers, I'm going to lose
Hmm.
fans, but you can't think like that. And it took me a while to fully understand that the people that are there for you, they're going to be there for you even if you take 2 weeks off. Because if you're not looking after yourself, you're not going to be in a position to make the music for your fans, or you know, make the content or share what's happening in your life. So it's really important for me to do that, and that's why I do. I'm very careful with what I do share. I make sure it's all music related. A lot of people don't know, well, hardly anyone knows anything about my personal life because I don't share anything. um, it's just the way I prefer it.
Do you have thinking that if you take a 2 week sabbatical, that you're missing something, that you've been gone a long time, or do you think 2 weeks is a sufficient amount of time to spend on sabbatical, and then you're back and you're like, okay, let's do it?
Yeah, I think, I mean, you will have your own particular period of time. I mean, for example, I went on vacation back in September for 10 days and
Mhm.
I barely touched social media.
Mm,
I had prepared a few things and I just posted them, and then just put the phone down, kind of thing.
mm.
Um, it just depends what kind of headspace you're in. If you really, really need that time off, then do it, whatever it is, you know, and you're not going to miss out on anything. If it's something major, you'll hear about it in the news or whatever it might be, you know, you're not going to miss out on anything. And you really have to take that time to look after yourself, I think, in this day and age, and not just in the music industry, whatever it might be, you need to take that time away from the devices and just kind of um, just just live life without a camera or, you know, likes and follows or whatever it might be.
You were just talking about there where not nobody really knows anything about me because I don't share it.
Mm.
What if that thing that you will not share is a song that waiting to happen that is one of your biggest songs that catapult you into Aguilar, I don't even know, Christina's land.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I write about my personal life,
Mm,
but what I should have been more clear. Sorry, I
oh,
don't post about it, so I
right.
won't say I'm at my friend's wedding or I'm doing this today,
I see what you
with
mean.
my
Yeah.
husband or whatever it is. I just keep everything separate
Mm,
because I just want people to hear my music. And when I on social media, when I talk in my videos, I am 100% myself. I'm not trying to be anything other than myself, but I won't talk about my family or anything like that. It's my sort of thing that I keep to myself. I just want people to know my music.
of course. Uh, Even when you do a Christina Aguilera song or a Queen song or any other song by anybody, do you incorporate your cultural heritage into it?
That's a really good question, actually. I think I do, because obviously when I sing a cover song, I'm going to put myself into it. I'm not going to try and copy the artist. So I think if you do listen to them, there'll be little inflections that are very specific to me or to something I've heard in Greek music or whatever it might be. So yeah, I like that question. That's very cool.
Yeah, it would be kind of interesting if you just took like imagine if you did a Greek version of Bohemian Rhapsody. That would be something
Oh
neat.
goodness.
Oh my goodness. Would that take you a while to do? Like, is the Greek writing easy?
Oh, I would. That would be a mammoth task because
Mm,
it barely makes sense in English.
right.
um, yeah, I mean, wow, that would be a really big task for me, but maybe I could just try a little section.
So, do you have problems focusing, Natalie? Like, do you like, let's say you have a writer's block. Like, there's this particular lyric. You just, what's that lyric? I don't know what you do. So, how do you overcome that?
When I'm writing, you mean?
Hmm.
I think, again, I'm going to say the best way to deal with it is to just leave it, move on to the next bit. Because the more you spend like in this state of, oh my God, what is this? It's just going to drive you crazy. So you just need to move on, come back to it maybe the next day with a fresh head, clear head. And usually that resolves the situation. But I do actually have, there's one song from the first EP I released in 2017. It's called We Got It Right. That song actually took the best part of 7 years to complete
Wow.
because I had the verse, I didn't have the chorus, and
Whoa.
nothing I was writing was working. Nothing was right. And I remember just thinking, oh, just leave it.
Wow.
Goodbye. Put it away. And then 7 years later, I was at work and I was typing something and it just came to me and I was like, oh my God, I got my phone out and I recorded the voice note and that was the
Wow.
chorus till we got it right. It was bizarre, but it worked 7 years
Wow.
later.
Are you tempted to use AI in your music?
Oh,
I know.
no.
I know.
Oh, no, no, no. I have heard the freakiest things that AI has reproduced, and I mean, it makes songs. It gets a voice. It just you can say to it, write a song in this style. It will go and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's creepy. It's
It
just
is.
yeah, it's really creepy. I'm very much more an old school kind of girl. It scares me, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know, and especially the way it can mimic. So you can record something, and then you can say, "Make me sound like Whitney Houston," and
Mhm.
it will do it. And it's like, oh my God,
Like
no, it's not for me.
yeah. Is that a Natalie Miranda song or is that a Christina Aguilera song? No,
Yeah,
it's Christina Miranda.
yeah.
It's Natalie Aguilera. No, I'm asking that when you talk about creepy. You know who Lena Nystrom is? She's the lead singer of of Aqua. They wrote that
Oh
song,
yes,
Barbie
yeah, yeah,
Girl.
yeah,
You can brush
yeah.
my hair and dress me every. So they put that. Talking about creepy. I always say this to people. It's funny. They took Johnny Cash and they had him sing that. You can brush my hair
No.
and dress me. I'm like, I don't want to. That's so creepy.
Oh my
Really? I
god.
know.
That's
You can brush my
oh
hair and dress me every. I'm just like, oh my. But yeah,
no, that's
yeah.
not cool.
So if someone offered you a lot of money to do a duet with David Bowie, you would say no?
But AI David Bowie.
Yeah, I know, eh? Money's there. You're like, tempting.
I I don't think I would,
Mm,
it's just weird. Obviously if he was still with us, I'd jump at the chance, but
mhm.
I can't. It's just weird. I mean, no.
Yeah. I heard two Amy Winehouse's songs recently, and it wasn't Amy Winehouse, it was an AI, but sounded like her. You're right. And also, they put the first 8 seconds of the Beatles song "Hey Jude" into an AI, and it came up with a totally different melody, totally different tune, and they did it twice, two different times. I'm like,
My god.
wow, So, oh, I don't know. Some people like it because now and then the last Beatles tune, how they put that together. They used AI, right?
Yeah.
So it's good and it's bad in some ways. Um, so when you're performing, you have a set list. So you have an opener and a closer. What would your opener be?
The opener changes quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
It's usually Bulletproof or Catch 22
Mm.
because they're kind of mid-tempo songs. But more often than not, I will end with Battle Scars.
I want you to know you won't forget my name.
Because the final lyric of that song is "You won't forget my name," and I always think it's a really nice way to end a show.
That's excellent. Wow. So what do you think of musicals? Would you ever do like a musical on stage?
I love musicals. I used to go to loads of them growing up, and I think they're just again they're quite over the top, and I love all of that. And I think I would love to be in a musical. Maybe not like a kind of very West End kind of show, but like more something with a bit more soul, a bit cabaret or something where you can kind of just play around, like Moulin Rouge. I saw that recently,
Yes.
and it was incredible. I would love
Come
to
Up
be in
May is
something
my
like that.
favorite song. Come Up
Yeah, it
May.
was. It really touched me. The whole thing. I was just like, oh my god! Like, yeah, I would love to be in something like that where you can just dress up and just, yeah, it'd be really cool.
Les Miserables. Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
excellent. That's inspiring. Those all those musicals. It's amazing.
yeah.
Um, so do you think your music has evolved over the years, Natalie?
Yes, I think for sure. And again, it's come along with me becoming more comfortable with myself, self acceptance, and just really believing in myself. For example, I used to write sort of when I was first starting out. I was trying to follow a formula because you were told, you've got to write in this way to get the A&R people to hear you or whatever it might be. But now I really just write what comes naturally to me. It might not have a pre-chorus. It might not have the structure that is that we all sort of adhere to, but it's just the way it comes out, and I feel a lot more comfortable with the process, even if it takes a little bit longer. Sometimes a song might take an hour to write. Sometimes it might take 6 years, like I told you. um, Whatever happens, it just happens. And I've become more confident in the way I write, in my voice, how I use my voice, and also speaking up if I don't feel comfortable. If I'm working with another producer or with another writer, if I don't like something, I don't feel embarrassed to say, hey, can we work on this, or can we look at this again, So yeah, I think all of that comes with time, and just getting a little bit older and wiser, unless you started from a very young age in this business, which I didn't.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Wow. So what kind of advice did you receive in your career? And you can't say your mom.
Okay. Do you know what? I wasn't very lucky in that I didn't, like I said, I didn't have many people around me that really knew anything about this business. I didn't know anyone in the business. I think I had a singing teacher once that just said to me, just be yourself. Don't learn from other people, be educated and inspired by other people, but don't try and sound like that person or that person. Just be yourself. And that will shine through in your music. It will be authentic. People will be able to know that it is you, because you can feel when someone's kind of faking it. That, and believe in yourself. No one ever told me believe in yourself. That's something I've had to learn myself. But be yourself is something this particular singing teacher did tell me. I've not had the easiest of journeys, but whatever's happened has made me who I am today. So I think it was meant to be.
Yeah, that's amazing. I want to go back to when you're talking about not doing social media. I'm thinking, so how do you connect with your fans? Do you connect with your fans mostly during performances or on social media?
It's a little bit of both. So social media, I think, is a way to obviously connect faster and more directly with a lot of people all at once. And I do everything you see with me on social media is me. There's a lot of times I'm just like no makeup. I'm just like, hey, whatever, like, because I want people to see that it isn't all glitz and glamour. I want people to know that you're still a person, but I do live streaming on a platform twice a week. I sing my own music. Am I allowed to mention the platform on the show? I won't mention it. Don't worry. It's okay. It's a US platform. I'll say that. And I've been doing that for nearly 4 years. And through that, I've developed a fan base. And you connect with people because you can talk to them. They're typing to you. You can respond to their questions. So that's a really good way to connect with people. But live performance in a venue with a real audience is is my favorite way of connecting with people. To tell them a bit about the song, a bit about who you are, really look at them and just connect with them that way.
Yeah, I know that during the pandemic, I don't know what it was like for you, but many musicians went online and they had live performances on Facebook.
Yeah, I did all of that on all the platforms. I don't stream so much on the social media platforms anymore because it was just becoming a little bit too much. I felt like, you get a lot of sort of trolls on social media as well. And I just don't have time for that. I don't want that to kind of affect the way I think about music or anything like that. So I leave that. If I've done a single release, for example, I will go live on one of the social media apps just to sing the song and to say, hey guys, the song is out and you can stream and download it and whatnot. But I do try to not live stream on those platforms so much these days. I think it was becoming a little bit too crazy.
Wow. I want to get into your psyche a little bit here. Can you tell us about a time when you had to push through a difficult situation in your career?
Wow. I mean, there's I would say just everything's been a difficult situation. I mean, even just sometimes applying to do some showcases, you'll get no, you're not suitable for this, and they never give you a reason why, and so you apply the next year and you get the same thing. You're not suitable, I can't think of one specific scenario, to be honest, and I know I'm not alone when I say this. Most independent artists are going through exactly the same thing, but it's just a never-ending series of no's and rejections. You're too different. I get that all the time. What are we going to do with you? Sorry, you're just not the right fit for us, or whatever it might be. And they never give you a reason. And then you watch people that do go through, and you're just like, well, we're basically the same, or
Yeah, that makes no sense.
it's just, I just don't understand it. There's one particular platform which I won't mention. I've been trying to get on their show for the
Wow.
best part of 8 years, and they just keep saying no. They
I
keep
don't
saying no.
understand it. I would take you immediately if I was like Simon Cowell. Now listen, Natalie,
Oh,
which song are you gonna be singing?
thank you. But it's just, for me, it's just been a never-ending series of struggles and trying to be heard, trying to be understood, I guess respected as well. Also, being as a woman in the industry, you get a lot of, there's still not the equality that we're striving for. It's just really hard. It has been that way for me since day one. And I'm not one to give up easily. I know a lot of people would have expected me to have stopped by now, but that's not going to happen. I'm still going. And if these shows don't want me on their showcase nights, then whatever. It's fine. I'll find somewhere else that will take me.
Terrific. So with your songs like You Got Soul, is there certain messages that you want people to take away?
You Got Soul is actually a good one to talk about, because I wrote it several years ago. I was working at an estate agent's, and I was there for about 2 weeks, and they fired me for no reason. Literally no valid reason to fire me. And I speak about that in the song. In the second verse, I say, she lost her job apparently for nothing. So I'm talking in the third person, but it's about me. And that inspired You Got Soul. So I wanted You Got Soul to be, things happen in life. You could lose the girl, you could lose the guy, you can lose the job. Things might go like, all the wrong way. But as long as you've got soul, as long as you got that belief and you've got that soul, everything's going to be fine. Excellent. And it all just came into that sort of 70s funky vibe. I think it works really well. So that's definitely a first-hand experience song.
Wow. Thank you, Natalie. It was so awesome having you on the platform today. I really appreciated the opportunity to interview you. I'd like to ask you, what advice would you give to aspiring musicians, other Natalie Mirandas and Christina Aguileras out there?
Do you know what? I'm going to say, believe in yourself and be yourself. There's going to be so many haters. There's going to be so many people that are going to tell you to stop or change yourself or do something that isn't natural to you. Don't listen to them. Do what is natural to you and just explore everything you want to explore and just enjoy it. Don't put too much pressure on yourself.
Really appreciate it. No final words coming from a professional musician herself, Natalie Miranda. I love it. Thank you so much. Okay, everyone. Thank you, Natalie, for sharing your incredible journey insights with us today. Your passion, talent, dedication to your craft are truly inspiring. We can't wait to see what the future holds for you and hear more of your amazing music. Keep rocking out and sharing your unique sound around the world.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Okay, everyone, we're going to end the stream. Thank you for joining us. For Natalie Miranda. Wait right there, Natalie. Thank you, everyone.
I see people walking around together, hand in hand, and I'm begging Santa, baby, will grant me my command. All I want is for my baby to come home back to me, and then we can be together under the Christmas tree. Oh, I don't care for diamond rings, I don't care about anything. It's not much that I'm asking for, you know there's nothing I want more. So bring my baby back to me this Christmas time. Put him in a stocking just for me and make him mine. And I swear I've been a good girl, but I guess you already know there's only one wish on my Christmas list: bring my baby right back home. No, I don't care for diamond rings, I don't care about anything. It's not much that I'm asking for, you know there's nothing I want more. Santa, bring my baby back to me this Christmas time. Put him in a stocking just for me and make him mine. You know it's been a long, long time since I had him next to me. Oh, Santa, 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 baby, just bring him back now. Whoa. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Bring me my baby. I say, bring him home, baby, underneath the Christmas tree. Bring him home, baby. Santa, won't you bring my baby back to me this Christmas time? Put him in a stocking just for me and make him mine. Oh, you know it's been a long, long time since I had him next to me. Oh, Santa, 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 baby, just bring him back now. Just bring him back now. Just bring him back to me. Yeah, yeah. Bring him back to me. Oh, Santa, 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 baby, just bring him back now. Merry Christmas.